Hi, Henry.
Banging the devil, or come when they come.
Kristen's in the bathroom.
Oh,
She just said, I've got to go to the bathroom. We can wait.
okay.
The world's not going to end.
I don't know. You tell me.
We're going to be absolutely fine.
Okay. I don't want to break any laws, Tom.
More than likely, the mic is on.
That's okay. They can hear me panic.
Yes.
Evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 Oldsmar City Council meeting. You will notice I am dressed slightly differently. A couple of us up here are paying tribute this evening to a very special member of our City Council who is having his last meeting tonight, Mr. Andrew Knapp, council member, former vice mayor, fantastic all-around human being. We just finished a celebration for him, and a couple of us have on some bow ties to celebrate his signature look. So, with that, I would love to have our City Attorney Tom Trask lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance to the flag. Please rise.
Our Heavenly Father, we come humbly before you to ask your divine guidance and help in our deliberations this evening. Bless the members of this council and the citizens that are present. We also give special thanks for the many years of faithful service given to the citizens of Oldsmar by your servant, Andrew Knapp. We also pray that our work this evening will find favor in your sight. This we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is our Citizens Open Forum. Each speaker will be recognized for 5 minutes presentation on anything that is not scheduled for a public hearing. We do have 4 items that are public hearings this evening, number 9, item number 10, 11, and 12. So if you have comments on items 9, 10, 11, or 12, please save your comments for that time when we call those agenda items. Anything else, please state your name and your address. We don't assume you are from Oldsmar. And I'd like to call on this side of the room. Would anyone like to address the council? Ms. Linda Norris, also former council member. Former vice mayor.
Hi, everybody. Kalinda, I changed my name to Kalinda Norris, and it's 200 Dempsey, Ozona, Florida. Thank you for calling on. I am on the verge of tears because, like Andrew said, the first time I ever met Andrew was on Timber Bay Circle, and he was with his mom, and I thought it was so sweet that his mom was campaigning with him and helping. I was like, and then you were just like such a nice guy, and usually when you're running against people, it's like, oh, whatever, but you were just such a nice guy, right? And so I won, but whatever, you won the next. It wasn't because I was the better person, because one thing I can say about Andrew is, and I can't say this about a lot of people in the world and in my life, your character, your humility, your family values, your restraint. Like, I don't have restraint, emotional restraint, All of those characters are just so nice in anybody, and especially nice in a public servant. And so, being involved in helping you get on the council. And another thing is okay, Tom will remember this. A lot of people won't remember this. But back in the day when I was on the council for a couple terms before, it was all old people. We were all old people, right? It was like, and then Andrew comes along with this beautiful family, and and Leona was born, 5 weeks, whatever, and 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I went to the hospital. It was so cool, and to have this refreshing family, right? And now we've got Steve's family, we got Katie's family, and I don't know, Valerie, do you have kids? All these families. It's like it mirrors the demographics of the city of Oldsmar with being a young demographic. So you were the first. You were the trailblazer of the young families. So
I won before he did, but I'm not.
That's
fine.
you were the. That's right. That's
Little
right.
revisionist history. That's all right.
I am so sorry, Madam Mayor. That is right. That is right. So it was an honor to serve with you both. It was an honor to serve with, and Tom, and who I did get to serve with. And the biggest honor, though, of this whole thing is being part of an honorary member of the Knapp family, because Leona is my honorary niece and Henry is my honorary nephew. And I just love that it's so many generations, and it's what we should all strive for. The kind of family that you have, the kind of drive that you have, but really the humility and the character, and even your cats, Machu and Pichu. I get to cat sit the cats. So I love you. I love your whole family. I'm very excited that you have this opportunity, and we will miss you. This is very bittersweet, and you broke down. So I just want to tell you how much I love you and how much I was so glad that we met that day, because we'll be friends for life. I do believe we'll be friends for life. So, vaya con Dios, and you're going to do great things down there too. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kalinda. Anyone else on this side of the room wish to address the council? Okay, is there anyone on this side of the room that would like to address the council?
Tom O'Shea, 208 Lake Charles Court. I also want to thank Andrew Knapp for all his service he's done. He's done a tremendous job up here. And first time I saw him, we did a plastics thing for the sustainability that the city put on several years ago. It's before he ran. And he's always done a great job up there. And I know your new town is going to benefit greatly for you being down there. Thank you for all your service.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Anyone else on this side of the room wish to address the council? Mrs. Cole?
Rhonda Coy, 317 Country Club Drive, Oldsmar. Well, I do want to address you, Andrew. I want to thank you so much for everything you've done. On a personal note, you've been known most of their family since you were born, and they were born, and everybody was around, and I know you're going to be missed greatly, and that. But I've also been asked to speak on behalf of the church, Community Methodist Church of Oldsmar, and to let you know that we appreciate the service that you have given to Oldsmar, and we are and we will continue to pray for you and your family during your move, but not only then, but we will bring it farther on, because your family has been always so much to the church and has meant so much to the church, and so we wish you the very, very best of luck, and thank you so very much. Love you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to address the council? Oh. Yes, in the back. Hello, young man.
All right. Amber Stevens, 318 Lafayette, and I have a very special guest with me tonight. This is my son, Stevie. So I'm going to mainly let him talk, but just wanted to share a few things first. We've really been enjoying all the winter activities all in Oldsmar. We're just super excited about it. And we had our one little tradition, I'm gonna let you share, that we started because I love tree lightings and actually started on my daughter's eldest birthday. Her birthday that was on December 1st. And ever since then, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, his sister has soccer. So I have him and his little sister. His little sister's with someone else tonight, but we have our special tree lighting dates, and we walk down here and practice on our spelling words and math problems and just have our bonding time. So I'll let you start talking now, sir.
One time when we were walking to the tree lighting, I had a test at school, and I got 100 on my test.
Nice job, Stevie.
Nice job.
It's not only physical, but academic achievement. Is there anything you'd like to share about Winter Wonderland?
I like the snow sled, and I like doing the bouncy house, and I like playing with my friends, and I like the tattoos.
Anything you think we should be doing better, Stevie? Or is it all thumbs up? Thumbs up? Okay, there you go.
Not two? Okay. Anything else you want to share? Did anyone come visit you at your house?
Yeah,
Who?
Nora and Luke.
Yes, some of your friends, but who else? Did they give you presents?
Grammy.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone that says ho, ho, ho? They might give you-
Santa.
Yeah, there, I figured that's where mommy was going with that one.
What did they ride on? A sled?
A fire hydrant.
No, they didn't. I know a lot about fire hydrants now, though.
There we go.
Fire truck.
Yes, fire truck.
Santa does come on a fire truck around these parts, I've heard.
Yes. Anything else you'd like to share? The floor is yours. Well, we do have a card that we made for Mr. Andrew. It says, Mr. Andrew, thank you, have fun. And it's signed by Stevie and Holly and our baby Hannah. And I just wanted to thank you for all your years of service. And one thing I really admire about you is that even though you didn't secure that seat the first time, you came back and were able to get it. So thank you for all your years of service, and we will miss you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else you'd like
Thank
to
you,
share, sir?
Stevie.
No.
No? All right.
I still have your speed bump thank you card artwork that I had
Yes.
in my old office.
Still
It'll
have
be
it.
up in my new office once I get it all situated.
Aw.
And thank you. All right. Do you want to go hand that to him? Right there. I know a lot of them are wearing bow ties. Vice Mayor Graber, what's up? Why aren't you wearing a bow tie?
He had his on. He had it on earlier. Yeah.
Remember, he evicted them.
Yes, eliminated was
He eliminated the bow ties.
Long-running
This is the last
joke.
we will see of the bow ties.
long-running joke between Councilmember Knapp and I about the boat.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council? All right, with that, I will close the open forum, and our community minute will be read by our city clerk, Ms. Kristen Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. The Oldsmar Historical Collection grand opening will be held Tuesday, January 6th from 5 to 6:30 at the Oldsmar Public Library at 400 St. Petersburg Drive. History has a home, and we're excited to open the doors. Join the city of Oldsmar for the grand opening of the Oldsmar Historical Collection, where memories, milestones, and local legacy come together in one remarkable space. This special event marks the beginning of a new chapter in preserving and sharing our story. Join us as history comes to life. And the Santa Claus mailbox is still now through December 19th at City Hall. You can mail your letter to Santa. And tree recycling will be December 26th to January 23rd at Ari Olds Park. And that's all I have this evening, Mayor.
Thank you so much. The next item on our agenda is approval of addition of new agenda items, including items 4, 5, 12, 15, 16, and 17. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this matter? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next item on our agenda is awards and recognition, business of the quarter award presentation to Fat Beat Farm.
Yes, and I'd actually like to make a motion to postpone this award ceremony to our next council meeting, January 6th. Unfortunately, Fat Beat Farm has so many events in the holiday season they were unable to make it tonight, and they don't get to pick the meeting that we present this at. So they're super appreciative, and they want to be here for the ceremony, so.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Well, we look forward to seeing them in the new year. The next item on our agenda is our Community Redevelopment Agency. We don't have any items there. And next is our consent docket, which will be read by our city clerk, Ms. Kristen Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 2, consider approval of the minutes of the December 2nd, 2025 council meeting. Item 3, consider approving payment to legal counsel for November 2025 legal services. Item 4, consider reappointments of regular members Rhonda Coy, Jessica Villafana, and Samuel Watson to the Code Enforcement Board. Item 5, consider appointing Jim Mascarenhas to the alternate member vacant position on the Public Art Advisory Board. Item 6, consider awarding the purchase of a Z-turn rotary mower to Moore Ridge MFG under the same pricing terms and conditions of Florida State Contract Number 25101-90021 STC. Item 7, request council approval to authorize the city manager to execute a 1-year extension to the grant agreement LPA 0351 through addendum number 2 with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for the Oldsmar State Street Drainage Ditch Improvements Project. And item 8, consider approval of the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection Springs Grant Agreement LO299 for resiliency improvements of the WRF control building and authorize appropriate officials to execute the same. And that is the reading of the consent docket.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to pull any items?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 5, please.
Number 5. Okay. And I see we have somebody else here, so I'd like to pull item number 4. The chair will entertain a motion to approve items 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on these items? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Items 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8 pass. Vice Mayor, I'm sorry, excuse me, I pulled number 4. We shall take that up first.
Okay.
Consider appointment of members Rhonda Coy, Jessica Villafana, and Samuel Watson. I see Rhonda Coy here. She does not look like she wants to stand up and say hello. How many years has it been, Rhonda? How's things going over on that code enforcement board?
I think it's been 17,
17 years,
think.
my goodness.
A lot.
2007.
Well, we are incredibly grateful for your continued service.
Oh, yeah, so am I.
On a personal note, I really appreciate the way that you run the meetings.
But it's 2007? It was 2007 you first got appointed?
No, in 2007, I came to the first Citizens Academy. My husband and I did. And it was shortly after that where I found out when you go to the new code enforcement meetings of Janice Miller, she brings a fishing pole with you and fishes and catches you. And so my first appointment was the code enforcement, and that's been on it ever since.
Wow.
So,
Well, thank you for your many years of dedicated service, and keep up the good work. We
well, you're
appreciate you.
welcome. But the board is very good.
Good.
And we've had really good, resilient people there. And Sam and Jennifer, who is not here tonight, but they are both very good, or Jessica, are very good members, and I'm hoping you approve them. So, thank you very much. And thank you to the council.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any- Woohoo! All right, that's the enthusiasm we like to see. Nobody's opposed. Motion passes. Item number 5. Vice Mayor, can you top that?
No. Don't challenge me. Mayor, Jim is here, and I thought
Oh,
we
good.
might invite
Hi,
him
Jim.
up here. I spotted you.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you.
Can you tell us some, please, would you? No, go ahead. I overstepped. Jim, can you tell us a little bit about you and your interest on this board, the Public Art
Totally.
Advisory Board?
So my wife and I have lived in the area for the past 5 years, and it was just this past summer when we've been able to, we were blessed to be able to buy our first home, and we couldn't choose a better place than here in Oldsmar. In my professional life, I'm a graphic designer, and I also work in church ministry at Christ the King in Tampa. So I really feel like my life is filled with a lot of art projects and church ministry and service to the community. And I've also been blessed to be on in the Citizens Academy this past year. And after going through that, I really felt a call to really get involved. It's funny, I was here a few weeks ago, as I'm now an alternate on the planning board. And it was funny, me and my wife were here, and you guys had called an intermission, but we thought it was we thought it was over. So we were like, oh, okay, let's go home. And we went back home and we put on like YouTube, because we were like, okay, let's watch YouTube. And we saw that you guys were still going live. We were like, we were supposed to stay. And so this time I like vowed, I was like, I'm gonna stay. And when it ends, I'm gonna ask, is it really over? So, but I'm glad to be
To
here
be
today.
fair, Jim, that was a very long meeting.
Yes, it
And
was.
also, if
long
I'm not
time.
mistaken, we discussed that you were here.
Yes, we
Yes.
did discuss you
Okay.
were here, and we do apologize for
Nice,
that.
no
lengthy
worries
meeting.
at all.
Thank
But
you
I'm
for
here
coming.
today.
We thought it was because since you and your wife were both here, you have a dog at home, correct?
Yes, we
We
do.
thought it was,
yes.
since the meeting was running too long, you both had to get home and take care of the dog. I swear.
Yeah, it was like
Oh, thanks.
9:30 by then. Or
It
Right,
was,
yeah,
yeah,
it was
it was
getting-
pretty late. I do want to share one story with you. So, my wife really loves butterflies and angels. And when we were thinking about like what town do we want to buy our first home in, we were driving around the different areas. We first went to Dunedin, and we were like, okay, this is nice. Okay, Palm Harbor, and we were like, okay, like we really love Oldsmar. We really love the small town feel, and we were driving in front of the council chambers. And my wife saw the wings sculpture
flag,
that was in
yeah.
front, and it kind of it stopped her in her tracks, and she was like, "This is it. This is the place." You know, it really spoke to her, and that's what art does. And I would love to be on the advisory board and bring some amazing art here. So
That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and I hope it wasn't as long. 20 minutes is pretty good.
no, it's great.
Would you like to make the motion, Vice Mayor?
Absolutely. Motion to approve Jim's appointment to the Public Art Advisory Board.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on this item?
He knows he has to work with
Oh.
Linda Norris, right?
I was going to say, there's a
Yes.
butterfly.
Oh, yeah, I live right by there. Is the first thing I noticed. Yeah.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks, Jim.
Next on our agenda, our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Thank you, Mayor. This is agenda item number 9. This is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance 2025-04. I'm going to read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2025-04, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Section 10-41 and 10-76 of the City of Oldsmar Code of Ordinances, updating adult entertainment code definitions and distance restrictions to comply with Florida law, providing for codification, severability, and an effective date. There was one change in this ordinance since its first reading. I want to bring it to your attention, and that was to correct a typographical error on page 173 of 364 of your packet, which is also page 10 of the ordinance itself. In the language that was added in paragraph 4, in the second to the last line, we changed the word if to of. Other than that, the ordinance is exactly as it appeared at the first reading. It does require a public hearing.
Thank you. We had our staff presentation at our prior meeting. This is a public hearing. Is there any from the public who wishes to speak for or against this item? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Tazewski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Swager,
Yes.
Mayor Gannon.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-04 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Okay, next on the agenda is item number 10. This is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance 2025-06. I will read that ordinance by title only. This is ordinance 2025-06, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending subsection 5.4.7.4 area requirements to remove the 40% total structural coverage of the entire mobile home development, amending subsection 5.4.7.5 lot requirements to provide a maximum lot coverage standard of 65%, and amending subsection 5.4.7.6 yard requirements to provide a front setback of 10 feet to established property lines. All of section 5.4.7 R6 Residential Mobile Home Parks and Subdivision District of section 5.4 Residential of Article 5 Zoning Regulations of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the second final reading of ordinance 2025-06 by title only. Staff presentation was done at the first reading. There have been no changes to the ordinance since first reading.
This is a public hearing. Is there anybody from the public here who wishes to speak for or against this item? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Tadaszewski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Swager,
Yes.
Mayor Gannon.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-06 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Next item is agenda item number 11. This is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance 2025-07. I'll read that by title only as well. Ordinance 2025-07, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Article 14, Supplemental Regulations of the Land Development Code by creating Section 14.14, Certified Recovery Residences, providing for definitions, providing for procedures for review and approval of certified recovery residences, providing for requests for reasonable accommodations, providing for revocation of reasonable accommodations, providing for codification, severability, and for an effective date. That was the second and final reading of ordinance 2025-07 by title only. There have been no changes to this ordinance. Staff presentation was done at the first public hearing.
Thank you, Tom. This is a public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak for or against this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion on this item?
No.
Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Tadaszewski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Swager,
Yes.
Mayor Gannon.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-07 is adopted with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Agenda item number 12 is a public hearing and first reading of ordinance 2025-08. I'm going to read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2025-08, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, amending Section 8.4.2 Design Standards of Section 8.4 Water Distribution System of Article 8 Public Works Utility of the Land Development Code of the City of Oldsmar to provide that water distribution systems and/or water main extensions shall be designed and constructed in accordance with the Florida Fire Prevention Code, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of ordinance 2025-08 by title only. And Tatiana is going to give you the staff presentation on this ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Tatiana Childress, City of Oldsmar Planning and Redevelopment Director. So this is a very brief presentation, and this is for the case 2508, Water Distribution System Design Standards Update to the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code. And again, this is a city-initiated. Sorry, we're having issues with
Okay, take your time.
the video. Thank you, Jordan. We'll start over. So this is case 2508. City of Oldsmar Water Distribution System Design Standards Update to the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code. Again, this is a city-initiated request to amend the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code, Article 8, Section 8.4, Water Distribution System to update design, construction, and testing standards per the Florida Fire Prevention Code and NFPA guidelines. This amendment was reviewed against the three conditions outlined in Section 3.13.2 of the Land Development Code. The key revisions of this amendment include updating the fire protection references from outdated ISO standards to the Florida Fire Prevention Code and allowing a 6-inch water main for hydrant connections where fire flow demands are met. This amendment will, the amendment complies with the comprehensive plan and advances the purpose of the Land Development Code. So this amendment will provide clear guidance for staff and developers. The current Land Development Code regulations requires an 8-inch minimum water main, while the current minimum industry standards allow for 6-inch water mains. The amendment will allow administrative approval of the 6-inch water main if the fire flow calculations and the water pressure tests are met per Section 8.4.2.3.2. The amendment will contribute to promote the community welfare. The proposed LDC amendment updates the city's water distribution standards to meet the current fire prevention requirements, and this amendment will not grant a special privilege to an individual property owner, as this amendment will be applied uniformly to all applicants throughout the city of Oldsmar. We recommend that City Council adopt an ordinance amending the City of Oldsmar Land Development Code, Section Article 8, Public Works Utility, by revising the Section 8.4 Water Distribution System to update standards for design, construction, and testing in accordance with the Florida Fire Prevention Code. And we're submitting our staff report into the record. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak for or against this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Got it? Sean? Okay, we're good.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Okay, with that, a roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Tadaszewski,
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Swager,
Yes.
Mayor Gannon.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-08 passes on a first reading with 5 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Tom. We appreciate you. Next item on our agenda is our city manager, Felicia Donnelly.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 13 is the presentation of the community engagement efforts for fiscal year 24-25. Pursuant to the community engagement policy adopted by the council in January of 2023, you'll find the attached report of the efforts that occurred in 24-25. And I invite Jordan Lance up to the lectern, assistant to the city manager, to give the presentation.
All right. Yes, thank you for having me again. My name is Jordan Lance. I'm the assistant to the city manager, and so I am here to say everything we've done in order for community engagement, to complete community engagement report. So what is the community engagement report? The report is designed to highlight the city's commitment to open communication. It's a comprehensive record of the city's efforts to achieve, to actively involve the community in the decision-making process. The community engagement report ensures that the public's opinions, needs, and concerns are acknowledged and considered. Most importantly, community engagement report is required each year following the adoption of the community engagement policy back in January 2023. So we follow the guiding principles here, which serves as a roadmap to ensure that the city involves and empowers the community in the decision-making process. These principles are essential in fostering a collaborative and inclusive approach to governing, enhancing public trust, and building stronger relationships with the community. They're critical because they emphasize the importance of recognizing community engagement as an integral part of governance and problem solving. Our framework. We utilize the IAP2 spectrum of public participation, which provides the framework for community engagement, goals outlining 5 levels of our involvement, which are inform, consult, involve, collaborate, and empower. It's important to recognize that projects can exist at multiple points along the spectrum. and on their nature and objectives. The IAP spectrum serves as a valuable guide for all of our community engagement initiatives, ensuring we align the right level of participation to each project and council agenda item. We will explore some of these examples throughout this presentation. So first level of is involve, which is to provide the public with balanced and objective information, assist them in understanding the problems, alternatives, opportunities, and solution. The promise to the public is we will keep you informed. So some of the examples we have, of course, is the triannual magazine. We have the annual Hurricane Expo, which we had in April. And then, of course, we have our social media platforms and the Janice Miller Citizens Academy. Some examples, I kind of used examples because the hurricanes were a big part with community engagement used here for Inform. So we use city alerts for evacuations via Alert Pinellas. We actually have one of our biggest posts that we had on our social media site was the emergency services suspension post, which received 56,000 views. In the back of the report, you'll also see all highlighted each month what some of the most viewed posts were on social media. Post some recovery resources, did flyers, website updates. We also did door-to-door outreach. I helped and assist in that as well, going to door-to-door, and staff answered questions with the most updated information in regards to repairs and available resources at the time. So the next one, consult, is our second level. To obtain feedback, analysis, alternatives, and decisions. Promise to the public is we keep you informed, listen to, acknowledge concerns and aspirations, provide feedback on how public input influenced the decision. We seek public input on issues and projects, involves obtaining feedback, and the goal is aimed to gather value and insight from the public. So again, some of the examples, the city staff worked with the Alliance members to understand ongoing recovery needs. We developed a community needs survey, and we helped them. We distributed that out. We gathered that information, and then we presented the results to the Alliance members, and they went from there. What we learned, collaborative assessment ensured resources reached those who needed them the most, and also, since this was one of the first times we've, as a city, impacted this first-time experience, it helped in that instance as well. Other examples include the city council work sessions that we've had, so downtown redevelopment, the special event fee waiver, capital improvement, and our operating. We also had the Oldsmar Parks and Recreation Survey, and we had a stormwater survey as well that gathered insights on flooding concerns to address community needs. Our third level is going to be involved, which the goal is to work directly with the public throughout the process to ensure the public considers and concerns and aspirations are understood. The process of the public, we will work with you to ensure that your concerns and aspirations are directly reflected in the alternatives. The involved level aims to work with the community. Goal encourages active participation and collaboration. Some of the examples, again, we're going to use what happened during the storm. Residents weren't just recipients of the aid, they became active participants. Community volunteers coordinate relief efforts, local organizations came together, Oldsmar Sports Support Alliance members organized outreach events, and residents helped distribute food, clothing, toiletries, and other essential supplies. Result, a central coordinated point connecting residents with critical services and fostering unity. Other examples, community meetings. We had two meetings regarding the 50% rule. It was the end of October and beginning of November. Again, just trying to answer as many questions as we could with the information that we had. Then, of course, we had the Pledge to Evacuate, Touch a Truck event, which, of course, we'll have one in January. And we had the Parks and Recreational Month, and we had an interactive calendar. Fourth level is collaborate. The goal is to partner with the public in each aspect of the decision-making process, including development alternatives and identifying the preferred solution. The collaborate level involves a partnership between the city or organization in the community. The goal is to create a comprehensive environment where both parties work together to develop solutions. The city and the community work side by side to implement the plan, combining their resources. So, again, using the alliance again as another part where we use the collaboration, local community members, organization and nonprofits, and the city. City's role, promote alliance events, everything we would show on social media, provide logistics, so we use Tico Hall, and combine city communication capabilities with the alliance, local networks, and volunteer support. And then we have some other examples. So we have the Public Art Advisory Board, and we also have the Stormwater Master Plan. And then our final one is Empower. The goal is to place the final decision in the hands of the public. Unfortunately, this year we did not have an example of Empower, but of course the main one is going to be Oldsmar Sports Complex. We will promise the public as we will implement what you decide. And then just again, wanted to talk about this a little bit. When crisis calls for a community, this year tested the community the most. When Hurricane Helene Milton struck our city, it displaced families, disrupted services, and created urgent needs across our city. With the power of already established relationships and coordination response, the Oldsmar Sports Alliance was formed. It is a testament to what collaboration, community, and compassion can achieve. Oldsmar Support Services Alliance required 4 out of the 5 levels of engagement: inform, consult, involve, and collaborate. We continue to build long-term resilience. The Alliance wasn't just about immediate recovery, it strengthened the community for the long haul, demonstrated the power of community-led response, built relationships that continue beyond the crisis, showed residents that have agency in the time, and created a model for future collaboration efforts. And of course, everyone already knows all the recognitions, but again, just wanted to highlight, because of this, we had the Florida Leagues of City Award, Tampa Bay Regional Planning Award, and their Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition from Senator Moody. And then some of the lessons that we learned: the Alliance formed organically because trust and connection were already placed. Flexibility is essential. The city adapted its engagement strategies based on evolving needs. Like I said, creating the flyers, going door to door. We created multiple channels of outreach: social media, door-to-door flyers, alert Pinellas. Coordinated efforts between the city, county, and nonprofit groups prevented duplication. And then residents became more effective partners. So now looking forward, we're going to continue to collaborate with relationships through the Alliance, apply lessons learned to all community engagement efforts, expanding opportunities for residents to have that leadership. We want to keep this momentum going. When it comes to upcoming opportunities, we'll have more public art selection opportunities, empowering. We will soon have the results of the park user survey building and then implement it. We will continue to inform, consult the community regarding downtown development. We will enhance emergency preparation and community communication systems. And finally, as you may have all seen, we're adding some videos to our social media site, so we're gonna bump that up as well. And that is the end of my presentation. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
so
questions?
much, Jordan. Well done. Any questions for Jordan?
Comments, concerns?
No questions? Wonderful job.
Thank you
Well
so
done.
much,
you.
Jordan. I love the Alliance as an example. That does hit all of those marks. Okay. And next item on our agenda is item number 14.
Item number 14 is the consideration of scope change request from Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center regarding their charitable donation allocation of $14,500 for fiscal year 25-26. At the October 14th, 2025 work session, Council reviewed the charitable donation request applications. Council allocated $14,500 for the Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center in this fiscal year at the October 21 council meeting. Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center requested to amend the project scope based on the reduction in anticipated program support. In fiscal year 24-25, the city allocated $25,000 to the organization. The project, as outlined in the original application, anticipated funding of $25,000. Budget is outlined below. Direct services for the residents of Oldsmar, $10,000 for client financial assistance. That includes utilities, home repair, transportation, emergency aid. $8,000 for food pantry, $5,000 in case management staffing, and $2,000 partial administrative support for scheduling and data. As the Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center does not have another funding source for the $10,500 needed to close the gap, they have proposed restructuring the project and budget to fit the $14,500 in funding that has been allocated as follows. $8,000 for the food pantry, $5,000 for case management, and $1,500 for support and data. If the scope change request is accepted, the donation agreement will be considered at the January 6th council meeting. I have invited David Hale to attend the meeting should council have any questions. David, if you could come up to the lectern, who is the executive director of Maddie Williams.
Okay. To ask questions, we need to have a motion. Correct?
No, you can ask questions.
Okay, so we can engage in some Q&A, if we have some Q&A, before making any motion. Thank you, David, for coming to the meeting tonight. I'm going to turn right and left to see if anyone has any questions. Councilmember Tadaszewski.
I do. So there was a portion where you had calculated how much of our community was served. And my question is regarding how are those numbers specifically calculated? So I'll give you an example. So, for example, are they calculated like if a family of one, say a single person comes in for the food pantry and they're served one time per month, is that considered one person served that year, or would this be considered as 12 people served that year? Each service number is the number of times somebody came into the center and was assisted.
Yes, great question. Thank you, Mayor Gannon and Council, for having me here tonight. We really appreciate your support. I'm always happy to come before you. And to answer your question, we track both what we call duplicated and unduplicated participants in our database. So
Okay.
duplicated is what you would be talking about there, which is the same person making multiple visits or using multiple services, and unduplicated would be the unique number of individuals we serve.
Okay, can you tell me the unduplicated number of residents you served last year?
Yes. So out of 26,000 total, it'd be 7,280, which is about 534 individuals utilizing the food pantry, and the rest are some form of family support. And so that would be covered by what we would call case management or our support level staff. So that's folks calling for information. Typically, we try to help folks with information and referral, what we call, which is just where our case managers would identify partner organizations who are running services or programs that could benefit the potential client, and a lot of people are able to help themselves, with that information. So if it's an information referral, it would stop there. If they come back or if they're not able to avail themselves of the resources, that's when we open a case, and that's case management.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah.
7,280
280, which represents about 28% of our total client base.
and 500 of those were direct food pantry.
534 folks that are registered in food pantry, which you must be registered in our system to
Okay.
come every week. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Just so I'm clear, is it 534 unduplicated individuals that are serviced in Oldsmar?
That was last year's total fiscal take, right?
Okay, yeah, because when you said 7,000, I was like, that's literally half the population of Oldsmar. So
No,
I
no,
just
that,
wanted to-
yeah, no, that would be folks that are over the entire course of a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, I think the application, were you asking about the application on page 262 at the bottom? I just wanted to make sure I think I understood your question. The number, you were asking about those
Yes,
numbers?
yep.
Okay, I was gonna ask about that too. I just want to make sure we were asking about the same thing. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Did you have any additional questions?
Not at this time, but as we discussed, maybe.
Councilmember Swager or Councilmember Knapp?
Go ahead. Just sorry that this is knocking this loose or whatever. So the application showed 2650 Oldsmar residents, but the 7,000 number is total people serviced last year for Maddie Williams across, your entire service area? Because now I'm just confused of what
Yeah,
was
no,
there
that's
before
why-
versus, yeah.
Yeah, I get the confusion. So the data on the chart that I'm looking at is about the prior fiscal in total sum. So that may in fact be the duplicated, because I think on this application we're reporting unduplicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would make sense,
Yes, I'm
It's
sorry
like
about
just
that.
on average.
I'm sorry,
People
yeah.
come a couple times a year or something, or a smaller subsection come often, and then there's a few one-offs.
There
Then
are.
This number on paper makes sense as the non-duplicate.
That's correct. I'm sorry. Yes, that's unduplicated. And the real challenge when we try to pull these numbers is that we serve the same individuals across many programs.
Right.
And so we collect that data separately for each program, which is a little complicated. Sorry.
Did you have any additional questions? Or, I'm sorry, I
Not
didn't know.
right now. No, I just was,
Okay.
after I heard those numbers a little bit, it was.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you for
all
the
kind of on that
correction,
same
council
question
member.
track. Did you have any,
Yes.
Councilman? Vice Mayor, did you have any questions?
Just, I see what was taken away, and hi, David, thank you for coming.
Hi, thanks.
The main thing that's been taken out is the $10,000 for client financial assistance.
Yes.
Utilities, home repair, transportation, and emergency aid. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is case management staffing. I understand what case management is, but can you tell me why the $5,000 for case management staffing?
Yeah, I mean,
Any amount of money getting paid towards utilities or help with home repairs, especially after the year we just had.
no, absolutely. This is a very tough decision, and I was
Certainly.
here for the meeting. I know you all had very tough decisions to make. We brought that information back to my team and my board of directors, and sort of, the discussion was how can we be most effective and efficient to still serve as many people as we can. So to unpack a little bit, the neighborhood centers in Pinellas County are primarily funded by the Juvenile Welfare Board, right, which is a millage rate on the property taxes. But by statute and law, the Juvenile Welfare Board is prohibited from funding anything that's not directly serving a minor living in a household. So that leaves a huge swath of our residents in the area that we serve who don't currently have a minor living at home. You can imagine all sorts of family scenarios there. So the rest of our work must be funded in other ways. So this program, as I understand the history of it, was designed pretty much like the one we run in Safety Harbor, which is how do we reach the citizens who don't know about the neighborhood centers, bring them in and serve them like we would folks with juveniles in the household. Because we have juvenile welfare funding, we've invested in the staff who run those programs primarily for children. So the idea was how can we leverage their skills and experience to also serve other residents? I talking to folks who were doing this historically, the utility assistance, home repair, those things help bring people in. They need immediate assistance, or they get a water shut off or an electric shut off, it urges action. So our job really to fulfill our mission, which is breaking cycles of poverty, is to get them in with that conversation and then case manage them to fix the problem ongoing, which often looks like helping someone with a budget, or maybe they're underemployed, or maybe their housing costs are too high. So we work a lot with financial coaches and try to make sustainable budgets and try to get people on their feet in the long term. So basically they don't need that financial assistance, over and over again. So the idea here, when we looked at having to cut this budget, that made the most sense to us to cut in order to preserve the part of the program that's really achieving mission and frankly is a much better return on the dollar. Right, because those case managers are already trained to work with these families and solve these problems. We just lose a little bit of our carrot to get them in the door. So what our hope is that our other programs that we run, including food, which has become a significant cost to families, will still bring folks in. And we actually piloted over the last year while we were under construction, having our case managers work with the families when they're there for our food pantry program, and it's been working really well. So we thought that this cut would represent basically a way to still serve as many people with less money.
Thank you. That's all I had, Mayor.
I have a couple of questions, David. So you were here at the October 14th work session, and then we voted on the budget at the following meeting. It was my understanding that after that meeting, client financial assistance to Oldsmar residents was ended on November 1st. Is that correct?
The funding for the prior fiscal year would have run out last September 30, right? Because our fiscal year starts on October 1. So I think the term on the last 10,000 of the last grant would have run out on September 30. Is that right?
Okay, so here, let me back up. Here's my question. So this has never happened before, right?
I couldn't
Usually-
find anyone who knew if it had ever been. I don't know myself. My file only goes back so far, and for the records I have, it's always been fully funded.
Wait, just one sec. Yeah, so usually the charitable donation application is, it's a literal cash donation, and we depend on the organization to allocate it in accordance with what they've stated in that application, along with providing us certain documentation so that the city can answer to perhaps the state or anyone who wants to know, what is the public purpose that was served by this particular donation. So I guess when I looked at this, and I learned that the financial assistance program to Oldsmar residents had ceased November 1, I was like, okay, wait a minute. So does this mean, because Oldsmar is not in a position to give as much as they had been in prior years, does this mean $8,000 goes to the food pantry for Oldsmar residents specifically? In other words, if you run out of that $8,000 and you're
No.
from the city of Oldsmar, are you getting turned away?
Oh, absolutely not. And
Okay.
and I brought some copies of my budget if you're interested, just to show you. It's a piece. $8,000 is a small piece of the food pantry budget, but it does help.
Yeah.
And so, given sort of along the lines of your question, Vice Mayor, like the priorities of the community as we see them as a neighborhood center, we really felt preserving food was paramount. That's been where we've seen the greatest need and the greatest pinch in the budgets of the folks we serve.
Okay, so like, for example, I only have 2021 and 2022's 990s. And, I was looking through these and I was like, okay, well, we give money, Rotary Safety Harbor gives money, as you mentioned, Juvenile Welfare Board gives money, as well as Early Learning Coalition, Pinellas Community Foundation. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, the city of Clearwater doesn't get anything. Do you receive
Tell me
any
about it.
Clearwater residents? Do they come to Maddie Williams for assistance?
Right. So we are assigned 2 zip codes by the Juvenile Welfare Board, right, for the eastern side of Clearwater. So we serve those folks with those dollars, which means we can serve families there who have minors in the household. But because we do not have any other funding, I cannot use the resources or time of those restricted funds to serve outside of those parameters. No.
Okay, so
So if you're a family that's in the 2 zip codes we've been serving in Eastern Clearwater and our food pantry, you have to have a minor in your household.
okay, then I would be interested in those budget documents if you do
Sure.
have them. And the reason for that is because, the way that this is allocated, I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute, why are we allocating it one way or another? Doesn't all of this money just go into one big pot? There's not an Oldsmar pot and a Safety Harbor resident pot and
not
a
like that, no.
Clearwater pot, so
Yeah.
that people who are coming in aren't depleting a specific amount that is provided by a municipality, for example.
That's correct. We're just restricting the funds according to the agreements we're signing. So when we receive the funds from you and sign the contract, it says what we have to spend it on. So we put that funding into restricted funds and spend it according to what we've promised to spend it on. And in this case, for the entire history I can see in this file, that's been how this grant or this charitable contribution has been structured, is to operate the fund. It used to be called the Utility Assistance Fund. Now it's the Family Assistance Fund, for the 10,000, 8,000 in food, and then 5,000 to family support.
Okay.
But if you wanted to take a look, I can pass these up. If
Yeah,
you-
go ahead and pass them to
permission
our city clerk.
To see how, in our accounting system, we have to track, every grant we receive, any restricted donation we receive has to be categorized by whatever the agreement is for that grant. So here's a good example. We get funding from the Pinellas Community Foundation in two different buckets. One is targeted on food insecurity. So that funding must be related to food pantry and providing people food. And then we have a fund that's for seniors. In order to serve someone with those dollars, they have to be over the age of 55. So we have to verify these things, and then once we do and we can serve them under the terms of that agreement, we can release those funds. So it's just like the Juvenile Welfare Board, restricted to juvenile services.
So on this, I'm just looking at what you passed up. I might not understand it
So
immediately, but it looks
revenue
like,
on top, expenses on the bottom.
yeah, I got that part. But it looks like the donations go up into operating income, city programs, and then City of Oldsmar, and then it says Oldsmar FAMSA, and then it's cut off. SU.
Oh, it is. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's the family services line there.
Support
Oh, it did cut off.
Okay,
I'm so
that's
sorry.
the okay, so is.
Right, so see, separate than the 15,000, which is less restricted, right? The 10,000 was what we would call pass-through funding. So it's restricted to direct financial aid to residents in Oldsmar,
Okay, gotcha.
or historically.
Okay, and then where underneath where it says donation income restricted.
Yes.
So, like, okay, we just did the mayor's breakfast. That's
Sure.
under donations income, mayor's breakfast,
Right.
$6,000. So how is that restricted?
That event supports the adopted child holiday gift programs for Safety Harbor and Oldsmar, and we split it. evenly.
Okay, that's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, okay, so
Yeah.
internally then.
Yeah.
You are restricting
We have
certain
to.
funds.
We're required to by law.
Okay. And that's for all funds?
No, it's just funds that arrive with the restriction on them, right? So if any individual in the community writes me a $100 check and says, here, use this, it's
Right.
unrestricted. If they take the same check and write food on the memo line, it's restricted. Now it has to go into a fund where I can only spend it on food
Okay.
and
so
related programming.
When you receive the check from the city of Oldsmar,
It comes with a contract.
okay, so how are you're dividing it according to what you've written here? And
According to what the contract terms are, which is reflected the language that we put in our application.
Okay, so the application asked for $20,000 operating expenses and $5,000 salaries.
Well, I believe it's up above in the actual descriptions.
I'm looking at the actual application that
Right.
was submitted.
Right, and so if you look up above in describe the purpose of the request, the services to be provided and how it relates.
Oh, the 6-point font, got it.
Yeah, I know. It's
Okay.
so tiny. Yeah, but
Okay,
you'll see
I
that
see here.
yeah, and again, I'm open. We would like to do whatever the council wants, in terms of serving the residents of Oldsmar. It's just our suggestion that this is an effective way to do it.
Would you say this distribution of the 14.5, 8,000 for food pantry, 5,000 for case management, and 1,500 for support and data, tracks percentage-wise what it's historically been allocated to?
No, because, a percentage would include some percentage of that funding still going out as pass-through funding for utility assistance. However, when we look at the percentage of what it would be compared to the needs, we felt it was off. And frankly, people in need of utility assistance these days are averaging between $300 and $500 to get caught up. It just would be a drop in the bucket. It would be like 3 or 4 families.
So, humor me for a minute. Theoretically, if, I don't know who signs the checks, but whoever signs the checks, if the city of Oldsmar wrote food, it would have to go into the food pantry bucket.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yes.
So it's the agreement that
Yes.
you feel is restricting where you can spend it.
Yes, the agreement restricts the funding. I can promise
Okay.
you.
Okay. So if I said, I think that the council should put it all in the food pantry, then we could do that, but then you're saying the agreement would need to be, I guess, structured such that it would reflect that so that your organization would know what to do with the check?
Yes.
Okay. If that happened, just for the sakes to help me fully understand that, and an Oldsmar resident comes in and says, I need, case management, I need something else besides the food pantry,
How do
can
we
they
handle
still get those services?
How we would handle that scenario is by first determining if they qualify for any of the programs we operate. But in case management world, if they don't have a juvenile living in their household, I cannot use that resource. So they would be a referral, and we would send them to another case management agency.
So there's, okay, so let's say that there's a resident from Safety Harbor that comes in and needs the same assistance, but the city of Safety Harbor gave, $45,000, for example. So those residents would technically benefit longer potentially if they don't have a child in the house. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's interesting you ask. Yes, that would be the case in that scenario. And this year, the City of Safety Harbor voted to expand our funding request to give us additional funding because what they found was that we were able to provide social services at a much lower rate than their staff. So it was a cost savings for them to, I don't want to say it this way, but purchase the time of our case managers because they're already trained to do this job and working in the community. So by giving us an extra $25,000, they're getting the, workforce of a $150,000 operation. Because, it's already funded by the Juvenile Welfare Board to do the bulk of that work. So now the thing is that the Juvenile Welfare Board cannot fully fund a staff position or whole
Right.
programs. So it just leaves this gap that we fundraise into as best we can. And so far, the cities that we've worked in have been, very generous about helping us close that gap.
Okay, so if somebody comes from the city of Clearwater and the city of Clearwater has donated nothing and they
Yeah.
have
This
no
happens.
minor child,
Yeah.
how can they get assistance from Maddie Williams?
There are certain programs we have that we don't restrict, that we just get like in-kind donations. Our clothing closet is a good example of that. So the free clothing that we receive costs us nothing. It's all volunteer run. None of my staff touch that program, so I can provide clothing to anyone. We do free daily food. That's all food that's been given to us in kind. It doesn't pass through the staff. I can give free daily food to anyone.
Okay, so
And we are the USDA provider for Pinellas County. So through that program, I have carte blanche to feed anybody in the whole county once a month. So we use that as another tool. So we have a few things at our disposal that we've worked on, but case management, those social workers are paid primarily by juvenile welfare. And so in order to access their time, I have to pay for it.
Okay. And I thank you for a little bit of leeway. I honestly didn't understand this.
No,
I really
it's
didn't.
complicated. It took me like 2 years.
And I appreciate the education.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to.
It's a lot more complicated than I had envisioned, I guess, in my simple mind. We donate toward a larger pot, and anybody who comes through those doors can, receive services, not based on where they're from, but just because they're there.
We don't like to keep anybody out based on where they're from. And my team will always feed and clothe somebody before we start asking, what's your zip code, right? That's part of our business model. But when we get into the provision of direct services, often we have to make a referral, just that there's somebody better to serve them. We're stretched like any small nonprofit.
Sure. Who would you refer to? Can you just give us some examples?
Sure. We have partnerships all over the county. Through juvenile welfare, of course. There's a big network there. And then, Clearwater is a great example. So Hope Villages is over there. HEP is over there. We work closely with them both. Food-wise, Dunedin Cares is a big partner of ours on that. We're a member of St. Pete Free Clinic.
Do you refer to Oldsmar Cares?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
All the time. Yeah. Joanne Fitzpatrick and I work closely.
Yeah.
We often share food because we're neighbors and we'll
Yeah.
get stuff that they need and they'll get stuff we need. We've shared programs.
So it creates an interesting dynamic in my head, right?
Yeah.
Because we have Oldsmar Cares that we also give a donation
Sure.
to. And I am not aware of any restrictive funding that they have. I don't know one way or
I
the
don't
other.
know.
I don't know if there is, but do you see the kind of like, okay, well, if they're referring people based on what we're giving and we're not giving enough, is it kind of circular, like handicapping ourselves or both organizations? In other words, are we handicapping Oldsmar Cares by giving them not as much and you guys not as much? Is it better to fully fund one versus the other? I don't know the answer to these questions, but these were all things that came to my head when I saw, and I do appreciate you bringing this because I really did not have an understanding, and I appreciate your candor in answering these questions. I know they're uncomfortable because we're talking about people, but at the same time, we have to talk about the tax dollars and the implications of, you know, what it actually means. I'm going to stop for a second. With that, does anybody else have any additional questions? Stop it, Vice Mayor.
I'm not.
Okay, are you laughing at me?
No, of course
Okay.
not.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah,
Sorry, you
go
just
ahead.
made me forget too. Is there any kind, so you said you can clothe, daily feed, do the food pantry. Is there any kind of other vetting that you do when somebody walks through the door? Like, for example, like if somebody walked in and they said, I need food. Is there any question of like, have you received, if they say, I'm from Oldsmar, you say, have you heard of Oldsmar Cares? Have you received food from them before? Are you receiving any kind of assistance from them? Or it's just, I'm hungry, and you fulfill that need?
It's the latter. You know, the mission at the center and the way that I've been trained on this mission is that we help people first and ask questions later. Most of the clients that we encounter have been told no many times before they find us. I hear too often they don't know about us or what we do. And so our posture is more leading with giving. And then we figure out, based on their circumstances, what they qualify for. So we are happy to feed someone, and while they're there, you know, ask questions. And we do. Our staff are trained from the front desk, who are part of the family support team, to our case managers, to our social workers, and our program director, to spot, you know, what we would see as signs that someone needs more help, and to ask the kind of questions that build trust and rapport so that we're not prodding or digging, because a lot of folks who need help, they're ashamed to ask for it first, and then if they get up the will to come in for help, you know, they're often met with an application right at that desk of like, should you be here? So we don't operate that way. And part of the benefit of the network of neighborhood centers is if you happen to land in the wrong place, you've come in the place that maybe isn't designated to serve your zip, we can still serve them and then make a referral. So that's a juvenile welfare board agreement between the neighborhood centers, is that we can go ahead and talk to somebody and start to educate them about what we do, and then say, now I'm going to send you over to, you know, the Sanderlin Center because you live in St. Pete.
I have another question, and it's hypothetical, because I'm trying to, same as you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Just try to figure out the best way to serve the public, and
Yeah, us too.
don't misunderstand me. I interned for Maddie Williams Center when I was getting my social work degree, so I understand your program. I love it. This is an uncomfortable situation for me, but I feel like I owe it to the public to be financially responsible. This is taxpayer dollars. So I need to make sure that what we're doing is directly benefiting the citizens of Oldsmar. And so my question is, do you feel like it would create a barrier or cripple your services in any way if we took the money that we originally this $14,500, if we reallocated that to Oldsmar Cares? Because you're referring over to them already, does it make more sense to keep that money in Oldsmar to serve Oldsmar residents? You guys can use this as a referral source immediately for somebody who comes in from Oldsmar. I'm just trying to understand what's the best way to use this money so that our Oldsmar taxpayer dollars benefit our residents.
I think it's an excellent question. It's the one I would ask in your seat, and I can guarantee you that the funding we receive here in this chamber serves the residents of Oldsmar. It's designed to cover the gap between the services we're already providing and the needs of this community, because we cannot extend all of those services without this funding. Now, Joanne and Oldsmar Cares is not in the room tonight, so I don't want to speak for them, but that's a two-way referral street.
Right.
And I think buried in your question is, what are the differences between us? Here's a big one. They have a monthly food pantry. We are weekly. Families need food every week.
Good to know.
And so they're referring to us for food far more often, not just for that reason, but because we're also the USDA provider.
Got it.
That requires a certain level of facility and logistics. So, you know, what we do is we receive USDA and GA foods into Maddie Williams, because we can, and then we divide it and we deliver to Oldsmar Cares.
Okay.
That's just something, they are free to apply. They could become a USDA provider, but you have to, there's
That's
certain-
what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
want
we
any
don't know.
unintended consequences
Yeah.
to come from a decision that I make up here that I did not
Absolutely.
mean to make without full knowledge that that's what we're doing. That's
No,
why, that's why I'm asking. I know it's awkward. These questions are like very specific, but I just want to make sure that what we're doing is with intention and will benefit everyone.
And Councilmember, may I also talk about the return on investment? Because, as a taxpayer myself, I also am always watching the ROI on this budget. I think our budget is pretty lean for what we're delivering. And I know by doing the analysis just recently with Safety Harbor, how much we're saving the city by providing those social services. I would posit that if you wanted to serve the residents better, let's invest more in these social services. They're preventative measures. So here's an example of what we're doing with the new project in Safety Harbor. I have a direct hotline now to code enforcement and law enforcement. So when they encounter someone that they believe would be better served by social services than law enforcement, they send them to us so we can intervene. Or we've gone out with them actually on code enforcement meetings to try to buffer and intervene, because we've been able to solve some problems, some intrinsic problems that they could not, particularly with single seniors in hoarding situations. That is something I cannot touch with juvenile welfare funding at all, but it is something that affects a neighborhood and a community where kids are growing up, and that is somebody's grandma, right? So there's a way in which this is still part of our mission, very much so, but in order to get at that problem, I need to work with the city to do so.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Did you have? Valerie, were you finished? I'm
Oh,
sorry. I
yes,
didn't mean-
yeah,
okay.
yeah, I'm finished. Thank you. I appreciate your thorough answers.
Okay. So,
Mayor,
go ahead, yeah.
So to key off of kind of your suggestion there a little bit, as far as any consideration of restructuring, would there be more value in, because obviously you've got other funding sources and the food is available, and we have Oldsmar Cares as well. Some combination of that is what helps residents from a food perspective. Would there be more of an impact by a consideration of upping case management bucket as it relates to this agreement versus the amount that's currently allocated for food?
Well, thank you for the question. I do believe, looking at 14,500, this is the most effective for what I'm seeing now. But if I were going to grow anything, well, I would say two things. One is you can decide, I suppose, to unrestrict it all and tell me to use it best, and I will. But if we were going to grow and seek to serve more people, I would put it in case management.
Okay.
That's where we're working one-on-one with folks. Yeah, that's where you move the needle.
Cool. That's all I had.
Okay. So the request is to have us adjust it to 8,000 for food pantry, 5,000 for case management, and 1,500 for support and data. There is not a suggested motion. you know, I'll entertain a motion, if anybody wants to make one. I feel, I really want to review this data, but little unsteady. If anybody wants to make a motion for discussion purposes, I'll leave it at that.
I move to adjust the scope to consider a $14,500 funding request and make it unrestricted.
Second.
Okay, so
For
Andrew.
the purposes of this.
Okay, so making it unrestricted would allow Maddie Williams to decide where the money is best used.
That's the
Okay.
way I understood as an option versus calling out these specific line items.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Question, Mayor.
Sure.
If that is the case and that is how we proceed, what type of record keeping, bookkeeping do we receive on an annual basis?
It's my understanding that as part of the, so after we make this, typically, this is atypical, typically we would make this donation, and then there would be an agreement that would come before council, and that agreement would formalize the donation in a way so we could publicly account for it. And I believe that agreement also gives us, correct me if I'm wrong, also gives us the ability to inquire about the organization's finances, as well as any future requests. Of course, the application would come with additional finances. I'm sure David would be proud and happy to turn over any financial documentation if we requested in the future to determine if there's an accounting. Is that?
And in addition to that, an annual report is also
Yes,
required
that is
of
true.
the expenditures.
So, but you make a good point, because the annual report shows some, but this, I don't know that this level of detail is included in the annual report down to these accounts.
That's probably not necessarily required.
Yeah, it's probably
in our
not
current
required,
process.
Right.
but I think it's available if we requested it, just based on the language of the agreement.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see what historically in years past, what the usage and funding has been, so we can make a more informed decision on whether it should be allocated to specific buckets or.
That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah, this kind of made me curious too, as to where the money's been going year over year, restricted, unrestricted, what have you.
I think when the money's unrestricted, then most likely it'll get allocated the way that you're proposing, correct?
Yes, yeah, in essence, it just unties our hands if something were to happen.
Sure, and I
where we
would-
felt like it was a different priority.
And just in terms of reallocation, I put that on the agenda, but that's when we have the discussions during the budgeting process. If we wanted to take the money away from Maddie Williams to give it to Oldsmar Cares, that we could nip that in the bud when we had those conversations previously. So we've already voted to allocate these funds there. So it's which bucket do we want them to go in? If it's unrestricted, like David said, it's going to go in the buckets they think are best, which are these three. If the motion is withdrawn and we want to bring it back up after we receive additional information from Maddie Williams, I'm all for that. I don't like making a decision when not all of us feel as though we're as informed as possible to make what we would consider the right decision. So that's where I am, just judging from the conversation that we've had tonight.
You raise an interesting point, because it was actually my understanding that until that agreement is signed, even though the money has been theoretically allocated in the budget, it's not given until it's given.
Understood, right, but we would need a separate agenda item, I
Correct.
believe, right? So
Correct.
we would have to discuss it, but I believe that this has come up in the past where another agreement for another entity had come before us, and there was a significant amount of discussion about what we were going to do with that money. And we already had this discussion during the budgeting process, so I just wanted to say it's allowable, don't get me wrong. But at that time, during that budget process, is, in my mind, the best time to do it, because we have all of it in front of us. That's all I was saying. Not that it can't be done later, it certainly can.
I think I know what you're talking about, that time that we had to actually make a budget adjustment. It was a budget amendment after the money had already been allocated, but not to that particular organization.
Yeah, it was,
talking about.
yeah,
Yes.
there's a specific example that I'm remembering, but I just wanted, just for the sake of that, for clarification, honestly, just for Councilmember Tadaszewski, yeah, you're right, we can. But that's not what's on the agenda tonight, right? It's not a reallocation of the funds. So I understood, so I just want to point that out, say, hey.
hypothetical,
yeah,
just to.
We wouldn't even had this conversation had we made that decision
Yes.
previously. So I'm just saying, yeah, we can, but that's not, the discussion is,
Right.
what do we want to do about this?
Right.
So, forgive me, did you have something that you wanted to add?
No.
I feel like I'm in kind of a weird place. I feel like I don't have enough information now. It's very strange to be presented with, the request, which we appreciate, and then this additional information, again, I appreciate, but then it makes me want to understand more historically and maybe see this kind of documentation for, the past couple years that Oldsmar has donated.
Would it help to look at the annual reports we send back on how we spend the funding each year?
Right, it's just that I didn't have this information in front of me in this format
Right.
at this very moment when we're being asked to do this. And I feel similar to what Councilmember Tadaszewski said quite aptly, that I feel uncomfortable making a decision when I don't know what the potential outcomes are. So for me, I don't necessarily have an issue with the restructuring. It's a fair question to bring before us. I don't know that I can make an affirmative decision on it with the information that I have in front of me right now.
Well, right now, it's just to consider the scope change, right, and that you still ultimately have to make the decision to approve the funding agreement.
Right, but if we approve the scope change, that scope change goes into a contract that comes before council. And if we're talking
and then we
about,
wouldn't want to be nitpicking it or amending it in the meeting.
right, I don't want to have to amend a contract if
Yes.
Maddie Williams and the city attorney have reviewed that contract and now it's before us, considering all of, the discussion we're having right now, and then give it a thumbs down because of the concerns that we could have addressed now. That's just me. So I would
like to, based on the discussion, withdraw the motion
okay, well then I will stop talking.
for future, sounds like we need more information and contemplation.
Okay, is there any appetite for a motion to postpone this agenda item to the January 6th meeting, and in the meantime, acquire some additional information?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on postponing it to the 6th?
I think everybody wants more information,
Yes.
Okay,
right?
I think it's a matter of just kind of getting whatever the specific ask would be so that you can have
And I
that
think, David,
information.
yeah,
Yes.
honestly, it's just one neat little packet that we can review all the information, that just, whether it's annual reports, I'm sure,
you didn't get one, but
It's
yeah.
fine, it's
but-
right here,
Okay,
yeah.
you guys are kind of
but just like understood where it's very readable for everybody, but we have more time to dissect it over more than just one agenda item at the meeting where we're presented with this information. Does that
Exactly.
make sense?
Exactly. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. So we will get with you and get some additional information, and we will see you on January 6th. 6th, my bad, January 6th. Thank you very much, David,
thank you.
appreciate you.
Thanks, David.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is item number, excuse me, City Clerk Kristen Garcia. Do you have any agenda items this evening?
I have no items this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
We thank you for being here. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Certain things are coming. The next item on the agenda is item number 15. Do you want to read this one, or do you want me to read it? You handle it, because you're the clerk's office, and it's,
Sure, I
Go
will
for
be
it.
happy
Clerk
to read
related.
it, Mayor.
it's
Thank
clerk
you.
related.
So this is discuss process for appointment of council member to fill vacant council seat 3. which will be vacant at the end of December 31st. So at the December 16th, 2025 council meeting, Councilmember Andrew Knapp announced his resignation effective December 31st. Section 3.07 of the city's charter provides that a vacancy on the council shall be filled by a majority vote of the remaining members of the council within 30 days of the vacancy. As such, council will be required to complete that process by January 30th, 2026. The city attorney recommends that the city council vacancy application be made available tomorrow on December 17th, 2025, and the applications be submitted to the office of the city clerk no later than 4 p.m. on December 30th, 2025. Each applicant must meet the qualifications to become a council member pursuant to city charter. The city attorney recommends that applications be considered at the January 6, 2026 city council meeting. Staff recommends approval of the vacancy application, which is attached for council's consideration. And then the following procedure would be used to appoint the new council member on January 6th, which is number 1, 5-minute introduction by each applicant. Number 2, 10-minute question and answer period for each applicant by council members. Number 3, a 3-minute follow-up comments by the applicants. Number 4, when the question and answer sessions for all the applicants have been completed, the mayor will open the floor to public comments, 5-minute time limit. Only comments will be received regarding the applicants. The public will not be allowed to question the applicants. And number 5, council will appoint an applicant by ballot vote. And number 6, the applicant has been chosen, will be sworn in by the city clerk. And again, the application is attached for council's consideration, and we are looking to have that approved this evening with any changes that are needed. And then that will be live tomorrow for any applicants.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I think there was only one change to the date on the page 3 of 3 of the application. And the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Like the worst item ever, Andrew. Thanks a lot. We love
Sorry.
you. We understand. We love you. We wish you the best. We
Just
wish you the
don't be
best.
surprised if you see an application from Candrew or FAP or something.
Who is that guy? Who is that guy? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next item on our agenda, consider appointment to replace Councilmember Knapp on the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. Councilmember Knapp's resignation will be effective December 31, 2025. Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council has requested the city make a new appointment to the board April 5th. They appointed Vice Mayor Knapp. Okay, we're getting new titles all the time. Just kidding. You were Vice Mayor at that time. To serve as the city's representative, the appointment does not have a term expiration. Before we talk about this, I wanted to ask you, when are the meetings?
So the next meeting is February 9th at 10 a.m. They do it every other month. It's the second Monday of the month. So you can attend via Zoom. They have to have a particular amount of in-person attendance, kind of locked in or RSVP'd in advance of the meeting so that they know they can hold the meeting. As long as they meet that part, and then any other portion of virtual attendance is permissible. That meeting is kind of like in the, what's the name of that area? Kind of just south of St. Pete Clearwater Airport. So it's not too
In
bad
Ellis
of a
Park?
drive from here. Yeah, off of Roosevelt.
Okay.
And so it's not too bad, but like I said, I've, for the most part, more often attended virtually, but have done a few in person. But I wouldn't be surprised that that time presents a challenge for the
Literally
rest of
everyone.
the council
Yeah.
to make that commitment. And as it was been discussed previously, it's like it's a challenge for me, and had not been able to have perfect attendance for those meetings. But yeah, it's they usually have a nice little breakfast and stuff if you are able to make it in person, and get to see all the all the great leaders from across the region. You know, it's not just Pinellas County.
So you said it's February 9th.
Next one is February 9th,
Is it monthly? Is it
every other month.
every other month? And then how long does it go usually? Varies?
It can, yeah, because there's some staff presentations and whatnot, so it's usually at least an hour, hour and a half, but there's never really any long ones per se.
Okay, and if there's no expiration, but if we don't appoint someone tonight, is your spot given to a different city? Is
No,
it given
because
to?
we're a member of
Okay,
Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council.
Okay.
So it's whoever is part of that council has their seat there, and I don't think we lose it by not having an appointee right away.
it would just be vacant.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion to appoint a replacement?
Can I make a motion to replace it with myself?
I mean,
By
yeah,
what
you
would like
can,
to
but
do?
I don't know that that's necessary. The chair will entertain a motion to appoint Councilmember Tadaszewski.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item?
No, I'm excited.
Good.
I think it'll be nice to, I'm taking a step back from some other things
Okay.
in my life at the beginning of the next year, which opens up a little bit of time every other month. And on Monday, I think I can handle. I'm excited to meet some of the other people from the region and learn from that, so.
The Zoom option makes it a little bit easier, I think,
Yeah, I mean, I
too,
think probably for the first few, I'll go in person just to try to meet everybody, because I like the opportunity to get more involved, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's good, and I mean, there's usually about close to 20 people between in-person and virtual attendance from as far north as Citrus County and
Cool.
all over.
Sounds good. Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, next item, discuss seat on Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority, new agenda item. Okay, Mayor Katie Gannon was appointed to fulfill the remaining term of Oldsmar's rep to PSTA through September 30th. That term began in 2023. We share a rotating seat on PSTA with Tarpon and Safety Harbor, with each term lasting 3 years. We previously completed the remainder of Tarpon's term and fulfilled the entirety of Safety Harbor's term, as those cities did not have representatives available due to scheduling conflicts. So in stark contrast to what appears to be a very flexible Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, PSTA is a monthly commitment from usually 9 to 11:30 or so in person at the PSTA headquarters, which is off of like Roosevelt, Elmerton over there. It is monthly. There are additional workshops as well. And there is a preference that you also serve on a committee as well. And some of those committees include Forward Pinellas. They have a nominating committee and an executive committee. They have all kinds of different, a finance committee. There's all kinds of different subsets of that. It has been extraordinarily challenging for me to get to all of those things. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to just not go, that I don't feel comfortable with that. So I wanted to, after not being able to attend several times now because of my work requirements, I wanted to bring this up because, like I said, I'm not the kind of person to just not go. So if there was somebody who is more able to attend those meetings, although Linda Cheney, I think, has proposed completely eliminating our shared seat along with multiple other seats. And as we know, services to Oldsmar were decreased before I was able to get on the board. But in any event, I wanted to bring that all to your attention. Oh, there goes that. To see if anybody is able to take on that role. And if not, I wanted to let you guys know my intention to resign and offer it to our sister cities for whose terms we have already filled 3 years for Tarpon and 3 years for Safety Harbor. It's okay. I have to bring it to y'all. Okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
With the sister cities.
Me too.
We have definitely stepped up for them. It's no secret that Mayor Saraki stepped up for them for, many years. So it wouldn't necessarily, be a requirement for them to step in. They may leave the seat vacant as they have in the past. But I felt like it's my responsibility to let you guys know what's going on, okay?
Sure.
So I will notify them of that intention, and it is my belief that they will take it from there and inquire with our sister cities.
They
and-
being PSTA, right?
Yes, I'm sorry, yes, I will let PSTA know, and then they will look to our sister cities, I believe. And if something different happens, I'll let you guys know, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Next item on the agenda are council comments. Councilmember Swager.
Thank you, Mayor.
No tears. I'm just kidding. Yes, you can cry.
Well, I honestly do not want this night to end.
Okay, keep it within reason, buddy.
In terms of sitting next to an amazing human, right up here. It's only been a short run for me, but I mean, even from my perspective, watching on YouTube from home or out there, it's just many years of, again, just being inspired by your depth of knowledge, your character, just your humility, your expertise. I mean, I could literally list off so many amazing things that define who you are. So much so, I wore a bow tie tonight. Thinking I was going to be the only one that had this great idea.
Oh, so you weren't in on this with
No. But anyway,
Thought he was being original.
yeah.
Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, it's okay. I even allowed some scruff to grow out, just to, and it's hideous. It scares me every time I look in the mirror. I can't pull it off like you, but, it's like the old, be like Mike, I want to be like Mr. Andrew Knapp. Honestly, just I wrote that down, just that word, inspiration. And going back to your street sign, right, Knapp Drive, that it, I just, I don't want this to end, I'm just gonna sit up here and filibuster this whole meeting, so. But no, goodbye today, but, we'll still be in touch,
It's not goodbye.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, I love you and I appreciate you, and, I know, well, I'm speaking for you, but I'd imagine you probably would have taken this opportunity sooner if you didn't have such strong conviction for the city, right?
That's fair.
And so I commend you for holding out for everyone in Oldsmar for as long as you did. So, with that, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Tartaseski.
Yes. Couple reminders. Well, let me start with this. I loved Winter Wonderland. I came in second in the race down the snow slide. Due to some antics by our vice mayor. It was, and I will tell you,
My arm is,
scooping himself down the hill
My
to
arm is
increase
still
his
jacked up
speed
because of you,
because
man.
we did not lay out ground rules beforehand.
Lesson
About no
learned.
hands. He also laid completely out at the end to steal the win. So congratulations.
May I respond? This is not.
You
Well,
can, or do you want me to show my
no, if
bruises and
any
injuries? I'm
battle
just saying,
scars
because I got
abound.
laid out too in a different way.
Now, as all of you know, I am from Buffalo. It's not the first time I went down a hill like
We
this to
really
see how
did not
fast I
consider
could go.
that, did we?
And
We've got some Florida natives.
if I
over
may,
here.
Mayor, I looked to my left in my periphery, and Councilmember Tadasescu was about to beat me. So since I'm 6'4", that's why I stretched out so far.
Yeah,
That's
it was
not cheating.
intentional. I know it was intentional.
And I believe my
No one was
quote.
doubting that.
I believe my quote to you was, "Just because I'm the only one who thought of it didn't mean I cheated." That's all I said.
Wait, did you say that to me? What was the one you
I
said?
said
to
it to
me?
all of you. I
Oh.
think.
You ran over the mayor.
That's not also. We have video. No, I didn't.
Only one of us was bleeding, Graber. Okay?
That is true. Yeah, you were the
Only one of us was bleeding. Now, Nap wore a helmet like a
I've got-
smart guy. I should have gone with the long sleeve under, which
I
is
thought it was silly at first, and now I see that was actually
not
very
kidding.
smart.
Not
Yeah.
kidding, right? Right? And Felicia's like, the one
Warm-
time.
warms her
the
heart.
One time I let you guys do something, somebody gets hurt again. Yes. It was just a flesh wound. I would do it again. But yes,
Anyway, yes.
congratulations, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
With that said, I think we had a great turnout. The place was packed. Santa was there. There was a huge line for the super tall slide, which I also went down, which was actually a little bit more terrifying than the snow slide because it was pretty steep. But I had a great time, and I think that our community also had a great time. So thank you for our Parks and Recs department for all that hard work and planning. I also had an opportunity to attend the lighted golf cart parade the other night, and that was really fun. My family goes with me every year, and so it's kind of gonna become our annual tradition to do every year. This year we had Santa hat. I had a Santa hat, and they were both elves. So I got to convince my 17-year-old that he should indeed wear an elf hat for me. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. He was not quite on board, but he did do it, and I do have photo evidence. So then a couple of reminders. Tomorrow night is the Jeep Parade, starting at 5:45 p.m. I know we were talking about that at the last
Yes,
council meeting.
we did
so
get-
just
thank
an
you
announcement
to-
on that. December 17th, tomorrow night, 5:45 in Oldsmar. Also, I'm excited about the Oldsmar Historical Collection opening up before our next council meeting on January 6th from 5 to 6:30. So I've been seeing some previews on what they're doing with the collection, and I'm so excited to finally see the reveal because I've been getting excited with the little teasers that I've been getting. So, and happy holidays, happy New Year. I'll be freezing my tush off with my side of the family in Missouri. So I'm crossing my fingers for low temperatures and some precipitation for maybe just a little flurries. I don't need snow on the ground, just flurries and ambiance. Yeah. No ice, no black ice on the roads, just the ambiance. And that's all.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Congratulations on your second place finish.
Thank you.
Can I get one too? I
Give me a
finished second
break.
place.
Okay. I was
Was I
told
technically second
Technically
place though?
third.
Because it was like against me, but then against you guys?
I won the first heat, if you will.
Okay.
But it was close. Deb had to point who won. All I know was I thought I won, and then I was told that I cheated. But I don't.
I underestimated the Buffalo component.
There
I
was
really
no
did.
intent
I
there.
really did.
Well, my biggest defender was my wife, who was just like, "He's from Buffalo. Like that's what they do."
I didn't think of that.
She's like, "They sled to school."
Uphill both ways.
I got to go to the Florida League of Cities, the investment trust meeting in Palm Coast. So it's actually kind of neat because my folks don't live too far from there. So I got to see my mom and dad for a little bit. Then we had those meetings there. And then I had Winter Wonderland already written down. And what I said was, can't remember who won the council race down the hill, is what I said. Because I was going to, eat some humble pie there, but that's okay. It's
I
fine.
remember.
It's fine. It's fine. No, I'm just, Oh, they're back? I did wear a bow tie earlier. Andrew, I do want to say that I'm wearing blue because I feel sad that my friend is leaving. And that is absolutely true. And it's also, I went back and saw the first meeting where I signed up for the Board of Adjustments, the very first night you and I had met. I wore this tie. So it's sentimental to me. And as much as many of you might not know, I'm a huge Muppets fan. And so nobody really knows that about me, but I am. One of my favorite movies is The Muppets Take Manhattan. There's a scene where all the Muppets have to leave Manhattan after trying to sell their Broadway show, and they sing a song called Saying Goodbye. And they say, don't want to leave, but we both know sometimes it's better to go. Somehow I know we'll meet again, don't know quite where, and I don't know just when. You're in my heart. So until then, it's time for saying goodbye. I love you more than anything. Thank you.
If you'll give me just a moment. Winter Wonderland was fantastic. I want to thank the city staff and the sheriff's office and all of the volunteers and everybody who was there because it was a massive event. It was absolutely massive. I loved the new videos that the city is posting of like, not just here's this event happening, but also here's what happened, and it was amazing because you can't possibly catch it all when you're kind of just there. I want to take just a quick moment to give a shout out to two very special volunteers that happened to be at the meeting tonight. I won't reveal their roles, but I will say that Mrs. Rhonda Dunkley and Mr. Chad Dunkley are here in the back this evening, and I do want to thank them for their special participation in a couple events, including Breakfast with Santa and certain visits with the fire truck and Oldsmar Fire Rescue. And while they are not here, there were a couple of videos and posts that I purposely went in and tagged the city of Oldsmar in, posts that people made after their Santa visit. And man, oh man, you talk about community engagement and really touching your residents. I don't know if there's a program that we do that is more beloved. Maybe Citizens Academy is one of them, but definitely for the kids. I mean, it is just fantastic seeing, you know, parents post and their real, true, deep appreciation to the city. So I really want to, you know, praise that program. I know it's a nightmare to organize logistically, and thank our special volunteers who lend their time and talent to that effort. Also, I wanted to wish a very happy birthday to Councilmember Tadaszewski and to our city attorney, Tom Trask. Hope you have like another awesome year of existing.
That's a weird way to put it.
So one year somebody said to me, happy birthmas. Like, happy birthmas? Like, what? It took me like 10 minutes. I didn't get it. But we know, we appreciate you so much, Tom.
Thank you.
And thank you for participating in a very meaningful way with the awesome bow ties that I brought. Sorry, Sean. I think it was pretty appropriate that tonight there was a presentation of the community engagement efforts. You know, that was brought into being because Councilmember Knapp brought the community engagement outline and the criteria and, you know, inform and it's going to come to me in just a minute. I'm going to turn to the agenda item, collaborate, you know, empower, all of those. You brought that to us. You suggested the implementation of that. That is now implemented at the bottom of every single agenda item in our meetings. Community engagement, what level is it? Consult. It's on every agenda item. It's on every item in our budget. It's in our capital improvement plan. It's on our tracker on the website, on the city's website, which shows where we are in all of our different projects, everything that we're doing. Our city staff is connecting that to everything that we do. So it creates transparency, it creates accountability, it gives us goals, somewhere to drive. I know I had a lot of references in my speech. I think it was partly to keep me laughing so that I wouldn't cry. This is the ceremonial moment. removal of the bow tie. I do remember when we ran together. I was kind of bummed that you lost, but I sure am glad that you ran again. And I really wish that you could stick around for longer, but I know how important your family is to you, and I can't even imagine how hard this decision is. But you know what? Everything's going to be okay. Everything will be okay with the city because of the decisions that you've made, that you've helped make and helped shape us. And I know everything will be okay with your family because you are surrounded by love and so much support. And those two beautiful children staring back at us. They're so cute. Hi, Fiona. Thank you for making me compromise when I didn't want to compromise. Thank you for encouraging me to have courage to vote yes. Thank you for encouraging me to have courage to vote no. Your manner of reasoning and decision-making impacted me profoundly and encouraged me to slow down. I don't know if you remember, you might have been there. We did an exercise where we learned our leadership styles. Remember that? And it was like, north, east, south, and west or something. I don't know what direction I was, but it was very interesting learning about your decision-making process. And I don't know if that's an engineering thing. I don't know if it's a background thing or a family thing, or if it's just purely an Andrew thing. But it sure does make you unique and special, not only here, but everywhere you will go from here. I look forward to when you come back and tell us that you're moving back to Oldsmar. And I promise not to say I told you so, so you don't have to worry about that if you ever want to do that.
Rely on me for that, Mayor.
Okay, you can rely on him for that. I want to wish everybody a very happy New Year, a very Merry Christmas, especially you, Andrew. There's so many wonderful things to come in the new year for you and your family, and I'm so excited to hear about how awesome it's going. I really am. So with that, I will call on you to go last.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I was going to also comment about the appropriateness of the community engagement item tonight. Jordan, it was a great presentation. That was definitely something that obviously I felt passionate enough about saying, well, I'm going to throw a PowerPoint presentation together and make my case to the council, and very appreciative that it was received well and kind of effectively permeated the city and the way in which we document and show that we're involved and that we want the community to be involved. It's kind of like the tentacles getting out there and all working together and be kind of pointing back to the brain on the octopus. So yeah, that was really special to be able to see that tonight and see where it's gone thus far and where it will continue to hopefully be embraced and built upon in the future. Santa got to visit my parents' house last week. It was 35 years straight. Going back to the days of Harbor Palms.
Do you think there's any luck? I thought it was supposed to be a lottery.
I don't know. I don't know how it's happened. I don't know if my mom's, slipping money to the chief. We'll never know.
No.
We'll never know. When she's like, let's get that on record. That did not happen. That was a really nice time for the whole family to be together. Kristen, I didn't get to call you out earlier, but I was running out of time.
Sorry.
That's okay. You've been doing a great job thus far, and I know you've got your own new adventure that's coming next year, so you're going to be down 2
Hey,
for a
enough
period
of
of
that.
time.
Enough of that.
But at least she's coming back. I've always appreciated all the meetings that you, Felicia, and I have had together, and always been great to talk about all the things agenda related and not, talking about the family and kids. Oh, Rhonda's still there. Thank you for the kind words from yourself and from the church. If it weren't for that church, it's where my parents got married. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't be here. So thank you for that, and please share that back with everybody there. I have a little request that is unfortunately with my early departure, won't be here to hopefully see the vision be realized across the street. So when that happens, not if, but when, I would like to be here with a shovel, if it would be the pleasure of the council at that time, to help celebrate that, because I think it would be something that really ties the city further together and stronger together. As I said earlier, with this new job I started, it's something that I really hope, it's a new challenge for me to help a startup grow from what is a staff of like 14 people right now, considerably smaller than where I was at Microlumen. And their goal is to get these devices sold and out into the market and grow into a profitable business. And hopefully that someday means that it's profitable and maybe it sells, and that's one of many opportunities that may allow me to and the family to be back here on a more permanent basis. So we'll see. It's too early to tell right now. But I'm really excited about it. It gives me something new to learn. As you all have seen and know me over the years, I just never stop picking something else new to learn and challenge myself. So learning how to take an idea for a medical device and actually get it through the FDA and ultimately on the market is something that's really interesting to me based on my prior career experience. So it's something that I hope will increase the patient experience in hospitals. It's a IV catheter and a needle-free blood collection device is what they do right now, so that you're not getting stuck all 10, 20, 50 times when you're in the hospital. It's got a lot of promise, so I really hope it goes well. I didn't get to kind of call out the rest of my family that was here in attendance earlier, but thank you to my brother Alex and my sister Amelia for being here. I don't know if my sister Alicia watched any of the meeting tonight. She probably has her hands full with her 4 kids up in North Carolina, as well as my in-laws, Don and Tricia, that brought the kids down and help out with the times that mommy and me are still working. And then, I don't know where she went. She came and then she left. Save her for last. Maybe she's not coming back. But to my parents, they've meant the world to me, and again, kind of helped this be part of my life and many more things that'll come. I don't know. Is Nicole coming back? No? No? Okay, she's not coming back. What's going on? It wasn't an easy decision for Nicole and I to consider this, but ultimately we did. We slept on it and woke up one morning and we decided to go forward with it. Sean, you had mentioned, I definitely had other potential opportunities to consider leaving, and they were much further distances to where I was like, no, I can't right now. South Florida seemed like the most tolerable of the distance of, okay, we can do this. It's only a 30-something minute flight, if you fly, to come back and visit. So as far as the sign, it's very fitting. I can think of so many things once that I saw that of when I pick something I want to do, I go do it. when I wanted a Tesla. It's like it came out, and then I signed up and was on a waiting list for 2 years before it was delivered. And when I chose to run for office, it's like, I'm going to do it. And it was 3 years before I actually was on a ballot, and didn't win. Didn't do it the first time, but didn't give up. And there's countless things over the years that I can reflect on of once the decision and the commitment's been made, I don't back away from it. So I know you all know that that's not going to change just because I'm not sitting up here anymore. It'll probably only be strengthened. So I know the phrase goodbye has been said many times tonight, but I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to say see you again soon.
Yes, see you again soon. Or see you at Easter.
I don't know if it'll be Easter. Probably sooner than that. I don't know. See. Easter would be nice. So I think that's all I got. So it's been a pleasure being up here with all of you all, and thankful to all the people that put their confidence in me to make decisions on their behalf. Probably won't be the last time that happens either. I know Nicole doesn't want to hear that, but she we support each other through everything. So
That's right.
we will continue to do so. Just a little bit further away from here.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, and everybody else.
Thank you.
Okay. The last item on our agenda is consider approval of tentative agenda for the January 6, 2026 council meeting. We had 2 postponements. The Business of the Quarter Award of Fat Beef Farm and the Maddie Williams Charitable Donation Allocation item.
Motion to approve the tentative agenda as amended.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And with that, I'm going to ceremonially pass this gavel. You should get used to it. Hold on to it for a minute.
Yeah.
Just think about it. You can entertain that motion to adjourn whenever you're ready.
All right. The C3 chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
This does not require a vote. Meeting is adjourned.
That was a little painful.